Hi guys, this is Ray from Split Decision Boxing, my YouTube channel. My fourth video in 2 days. This is getting crazy. I don't think I've ever done 4 videos in 2 days, but I'm enjoying it. I've got a couple of days off work. I'm back in tomorrow, so the videos will dry up now and for 3 or 4 days until I'm off again for another couple of days, and then I'll try and do some more if there's anything going on. But what am I going to talk about? Well, I normally talk about anything that's going on in the boxing world or anything boxing connected, and I guess you could call this boxing connected, right? I just want to have a little rant, really. As we know, as you know, you boxing aficionados will know that there's a fight coming up, been announced on was it April the 4th, I think? April the 11th, I can't remember, between Tyson Fury and a Russian guy. Yes, a Russian guy, I can't pronounce his surname, and I haven't got it written down. But that's going to be taking place at the Tottenham Stadium. And day before yesterday, I think it was, there was a press conference. And at that press conference, which all went very nicely, the press conference, as you know, no bad feeling, Tyson Fury was very eloquent and put his case over as to why he wanted to come back and why he believes he can win, etc., 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 and all the normal stuff. That was great. Also there on the day at the venue was Carl Froch, who's been contracted to Netflix, and they were there to talk about this fight and other things, and he was there with former heavyweight champion of the world, the immortal Lennox Lewis. And they were about 10 seconds before they went on air. This is what Froch has said. They were about 10 seconds before they went on air when there was a commotion, and it was the ever-present John Fury. Now, there's a background to this because Carl Froch has, if you like, slagged off John Fury on his own YouTube channel, on Carl Froch's Cobra on Fighting or something like that he's called, his YouTube fighting channel, boxing channel, where he talks about, a bit like me, he talks about upcoming fights and talks about what's going on in the boxing world. He does it much better than I do, but then again, as he says, he is a 4-time world champion who knocked George Groves out cold in front of 80,000 people. There you go, Cobra. Got it in there before you did. Well done, mate. But no, he's an absolute legend. I loved watching his fights. Pity he never fought Joe Calzaghe, by the way. There we go. I got that one in too. But anyway, so he's been, let's say, less than complimentary towards John Fury on his channel. There's been a bit of backwards and forwards, and Fury has said things. But John Fury turns up just as they're about to go on air with his entourage, absolutely ranting and raving and shouting. Oh my God, he was shouting, I'm Big John Fury, I'm a fighting man, and, you know, I'll fight any man, and you're a piece of shit, Carl Froch, where is he? Where's Carl Froch? Where is he? You can't run away from me, and all this kind of stuff. Carl Froch wasn't running away from anyone. Carl Froch was on a platform above him, looking down, watching what's going on. And then Fury shouted, I've never run away from anyone. And then he starts shouting at Lennox Lewis and saying, Lennox, you know, you wanted to fight me. I never ran away from you. Did I, Lennox? Did I, Lennox? And Lennox was like, no, you didn't. He went, no, because I'm a fighting man. I'll fight any man. I'm not scared of any man on the planet, blah, blah, blah. And he was calling Froch a bitch and running like a bitch and all, run away like a bitch, I think he was saying and stuff. Well, really, Carl Froch wasn't running anywhere. And this went on for some time. It was embarrassing. It's embarrassing, right? And it went on for some time. Eventually, Fury left, and Froch subsequently the next day went on air on his channel, on his YouTube channel, to talk about what had happened, and gave his, and he said, there I was 10 seconds away from going live, my debut for Netflix, and all of a sudden this fella's calling me out and calling me names, and he says I wasn't particularly bothered. He said, but he did say, I did think maybe this is going to go off on top, He said, so I slipped my watch off, he said, and put it in my pocket. He said, and let me tell you, if he had come up the stairs, up to that platform, I'd have volleyed him out and folded him up down the stairs. Make no mistake about that. He said, because, he's no threat to me. He thinks he can fight me, blah, blah. And this went on. So there was now Froch is sort of having his say, and he started getting a bit wound up, you could see, and he actually said, I'll be honest, he said, I'm shaking a little bit. He said, I'm getting a little bit wound up just talking about it, because it was such a bad thing to do. And he ended up saying, you know what? If you really want it that badly, John Fury, let's do it. Let's do it on Misfits, because that's what it is, isn't it? It's one of those Misfits fights. Let's lace up the gloves, get your training done, because I'm telling you, you ain't going to beat me. It's impossible. 4-time world champion, 80,000 people, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? So now I'm thinking, wow, this, not that it won't spark my interest as a fighter. I've said before, I hate these crossover fighters, the likes of Logan Paul and Jake Paul, and the embarrassment that the fight was against Mike Tyson, and all that. But anyway, this still sparks my interest, because there seems to be a little bit genuine and genuine bad feeling here, bad blood, and John Fury is such an unpredictable character. We saw the headbutt that he did before. He's a bad man. I wouldn't want him on my list of associates, to be honest. But since then as well, now you've got a fella called Joe Egan. Joe Egan's an ex-pro boxer, Irish, I think, ex-pro boxer. He's trained with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson allegedly said Joe Egan was the hardest he's ever been hit by a white man in when they were sparring. And there's been some ongoing, for months and months and months, videos between Joe Egan and John Fury about getting it on between the pair of them, whether it's in a ring, whether it's on the cobbles, as they call it, having a straightener. And of course, he's jumped on this bandwagon between Froch and John Fury. And there's been lots of insults aimed at John Fury. And John Fury has then come back. I saw a video this morning. He was training. Literally, if you've not seen this video, he was running somewhere in the dark, and he's holding his camera down. He's obviously looking up at him. Not a flattering shot, bit like this one here. He's up like that. Not a flattering shot, and it's very close up while he's running, and he's ranting, and he's literally, I'm not making this up, right? He's literally foaming, frothing at the mouth as he's talking about Froch and about Joe Egan, and how he wants to fight. I want to fight them both. I'll fight them both on the same night. I'll fight them both on the same night, because I'm scared of no man. There's no man on the planet. I'm a man's man. Oh, blah, blah, and all that kind of stuff. All the macho bullshit that he comes out with. Takes a man to fight. No, it doesn't actually. John Fury Do you know what it takes a man to do? It takes a man to shut the fuck up and walk away from a fight, knowing he could have won. That's what takes a man. But you ain't him. Anyway, he's even, on this video, as I say, he's frothing, he's foaming at the mouth, and he's running, and he's ranting, and he's saying that he will go to prison. He doesn't care. I'm not scared if I have to go back to prison. I don't know what he means by that. We know he's been to prison, but I don't know what kind of veiled threat that might have been towards Joe Egan and Carl Froch. Not a very nice thing to say, is it? It's going. There's a line, and he's just crossed it in my book. Yeah. I saw another video. Now, I'm assuming this other video was taken just after the initial rant. It looked to me like it was at the same venue, just after he'd called out Froch. And I think the person asked him, "Why are you like this, John? What is it that's bothering you?" And he said, he doesn't like it. He's like a child, like a petulant child. He said he doesn't like it because his son gets all the attention. Tyson Fury gets all the attention. He gets all the accolades. He gets all the rewards and the spoils of the victory. But I've been there. If it wasn't for me, he said, if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't be alive. It was my seed that put him there. I gave him life. And what do I get out of it? Not a bean for me. He says, not a bean for me. He gets all the attention. Grow up, John Fury. You're not the one in there winning world titles. And let me tell you, I've seen a couple of your fights when you did fight professionally. You was never going to win a world title or a British title. You were useless. You might be a fighting man. I knew kids at school. I knew families around where I lived. I lived in a tough old area, right, that called themselves fighting men. They were fighting men because they got in lots of fights. Didn't win many. More often than not, they got knocked the shit out of. But they had lots of fights. So they were fighting men, and they were scared of no man. Like you, John. As a role model father of a man, I know, maybe you'll say I'm not from the travelling community, so I don't understand they play by a different set of rules and a different set of morals and standards. I get that, and I don't understand it because I'm not part of that world, and I've got nothing against that world, by the way. I've known quite a few travellers in my time, and the ones that I've known in general, I found them to be absolutely honourable people who do settle their disputes on the cobbles somewhere in an organised way. Might be in a disused quiet country lane or wherever it might be, where the two men will fight bare knuckle. If there's a dispute between two families, they might pick the best fighter from each family, and they'll get on the cobbles, or they'll get in the field, or wherever it is. There'll be money exchanged, there'll be bets placed on it as well, and the two will fight each other with bare knuckles, and there are very strict rules. You don't hit them when they're down, you don't bite. I mean, some of the rules get bent, obviously, as they do in professional boxing. But in general, once it's over, once one of them says, I've had enough, I'm done, and he offers his hand to shake hands, it's over. The ill feeling is over, and it's settled, right? So I understand that. That's different sort of life that they come from. But John Fury, your son, you're the father of a man, a grown man, your flesh and blood, as you said, right, who's achieved what we mere mortals can only dream of. He's become the world heavyweight champion. He's beaten the best out there. He's a showman. He's an entertainer. He's charismatic. Might not be your cup of tea. Might not be everyone's cup of tea. I get really annoyed with him, the amount of times he's retired and comes back and retires and comes back. But I understand why that is now. I understand that he's addicted to the game. John Fury said this, by the way. Without the fight game, he tries to separate himself from it. And when he does, the call is too much and he has to come back. Because without that, he starts to have mental issues. Becomes depressed. And when he becomes depressed, it becomes a danger to himself. If not a danger to others, allegedly. Right? So I understand that. It's annoying though. Every time he retires, oh, here we go, he's retired again. See you in about a year. He'll be back again. But I understand, right? But you've John Fury as a father, as a dad. I'm a dad, right? It doesn't matter if you don't get a bean. It doesn't matter if you're not getting the attention. Why has it got to be about you? You're not the one that's achieved everything. You might have helped and trained him. You might have given him life. You might have given him world advice and life advice and professional advice. You may have done all of those things, all of the above. I'd like to think I've done similar things for my kids, right? You give them the benefit of your knowledge, the benefit of your life experience, in the hope that they would take that and they would take the good parts out of it, the bits they need to give themselves an edge and a better chance in achieving what they want to achieve. And if they do that, don't get jealous. Don't act like a spoilt brat. You're like the child and he's the dad. Has he got to worry every time he goes on a press conference or every time he does a TV appearance that you're going to show up and embarrass him? I mean, he won't say it on camera, but I'm pretty sure he would have been totally embarrassed once he sees that. I was never once embarrassed by my father. I'd like to think my kids have never been embarrassed by anything I've said or done, right? But you, John Fury, acting like that, check yourself, give your head a wobble, look in the mirror. What is it that you can't control that makes you want to act like a baby, number one, a thug, number two, and a moron, number three? Because I've seen other interviews when you're calm and you're collected and you seem like an all right guy. And then you see that. And then you see the incident when you headbutted that poor kid, right? And then you see when you're ranting and raving, running down the street like I saw earlier on today, frothing at the mouth. You're fighting, man. Fight. Show some self-respect. Have a bit of dignity. And show some respect for your son's career and the people that are involved in your son's career. Those that are involved promoting him, those that are involved talking about him, talking about his career, and in essence, helping him put bums on seats. Because you're not helping. You're hindering. You could help him, but you're not. Because you've made it all about you. And I wish that John Fury would do the world a favour. Back away. Go back into the shadows. And stop annoying everyone. That's it. Nothing else to say on that. Rant over. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you agree with what I say so. Comments down below. If you don't agree with what I said, or you have another point of view, say so. Comments down below. If you did like this, you found it interesting and engaging, that's all I really want to do. Give it the thumbs up, subscribe, like and share. That's it. I'm out of here. Keep punching. Bye.